Welcome to the Bryce Babbles podcast. And we are babbling today, having a babble session. This is the first of hopefully many episodes of hopefully a great podcast. We're just going ahead and babbling about topics that happen to land on my mind, then just just talk about it as they come. So we don't really have an outline or like a plan. Sorry, I don't have like an outline or like a plan or anything. We're just vibing, man. So, but first thing I do want to talk about is the podcast trailer. The podcast trailer. Podcast trailer. I love the podcast trailer. The um the amount of time that it took was a lot. It took a few days to fully, get everything posted and produced the correct way. That was important, especially with those cicadas, those doggone cicadas. We do not like cicadas. Cicadas are very bad. We don't. Boo, boo, boo. No, yeah, no, we don't like cicadas at all. So, having to filter out those cicadas in the audio, and then they were still pretty loud. That kind of sucked. But everything other than that, it was a good experience for sure. It was great to film my to or direct my first short film. Anthony was the one who filmed it. Shout out Anthony and Mari and Bryce and Lulaco for helping me out at that, or with the podcast trailer. It was they were great help. We were not getting it done without them. Not at all. It's not getting done without them. So that was definitely a great thing that they could help us out there. Say us meaning me, myself, and I guess. I don't know. So that podcast trailer, right? Just probably like the last thing on that. It was cool to have my my trailer to have a skit in it because I've always been an actor. For those who have known me for a while, I've always been an actor, right? So even though it was like not really like the same type of acting that I would do, it was like because the acting that you would do or that I would do was like theater, so it was like live, and you had to get it right the first time after like working for months and months to memorize the lines, memorize the dances, etc. Right? That doesn't happen with the short film, especially a short film where the script was made less than a week before it was filmed. Shout out Bryce, not me, other Bryce Barnett. Check out his podcast. What's Bryce talking about? Pod. Yeah, for sure. So when we have the different types of acting, it's definitely a little bit different, but it was still really fun because it was actually easier than theater because like you could just like look at the line and say the line, and it would be in one shot, like just memorize a few sections of lines, and then you just got one shot, and then you're good. So it was definitely cool to have that luxury because having to actually memorize those lines, especially in such a short period of time, because I was trying to get that out ASAP so I can get this out ASAP. If I didn't do that, I couldn't do this. So now I can do this now that I have a trailer. 'Cause I've been wanting to film the first episode for like a week or two now. About a week, because school ended like a week and a half ago ish. I don't know. I don't even remember. Maybe 2 weeks. All the days are mushing together now. Now it's the summer, but yeah. So, but I making that trailer, right. It was definitely something because I knew that nobody's gonna watch an 8 minute trailer, right? Especially even if I call not especially even if I called it a short film, I already knew that people were gonna watch an 8 minute trailer, especially because we got every single platform, like every single major platform, having some type of short attention span that everybody's getting hooked onto, i.e., TikTok, just TikTok in general, and YouTube shorts, not the actual videos, but like the shorts. And then you have Instagram reels, just like short videos that are like right here. Now everybody's adapted to that, so nobody wants to watch short films anymore. So that kind of sucks. When people either watch the really short stuff or the really long stuff, meaning movies and TV series and things of that nature. So when you're making a short film as someone that's not a professional, you're not gonna get any like you're not gonna get much interaction on it, and I'm okay with that. It was still part of my rollout, so and I wanted to do that as part of my rollout, so I still did it, and I didn't care what they were thinking, or I didn't care if they watched it. I was still just trying to have fun with it, so it was definitely a great thing to do. And that's actually the topic of today: why we care, why we shouldn't care about what others are thinking about us and what we do, right? So when we before I before I delve into these topics of the day, we are gonna make sure that we establish that y'all should take my opinions with a grain of salt, and that life isn't black and white, meaning that my opinions also aren't black and white. So don't interpret them as black and white. Don't cancel me, please. I don't care if you do, but I mean, if you do, I can't do anything about it. But it's just a waste of your energy, and it would be a waste of my time if I devoted any time to you guys trying to, or any viewer trying to, you know, interpret my views in a different way. But that's for every episode that I'm gonna make. That applies. So yeah. On to the main topic of the day: the importance of not caring about what others think. We're as humans, we kind of move through life with the thought of how others are gonna interpret what we do and perceive what we do, right? When we do that, we're kind of losing our own lives, like we're kind of devoting our lives to other people, not devoting it to ourselves, right? So when we do that, it's not supposed to go that way, man. We're supposed to be pleasing ourselves in what we make, and what we do, right? Again, when when I say these things, definitely not black and white, because you can't just be going out and hurting people. Uh, if you're hurting somebody and somebody's telling you don't hurt them, man. Shouldn't do that. Come on now, let's lock in. So, obviously some exceptions to this opinion, but yeah, why care, man? Like why try to care about how other people are gonna be like, yeah, what you did was cool. Oh, or yeah, what you did was not cool. They're always gonna change their opinion on you too. Their opinion is likely never gonna be consistent about what you do or how you handle things. Again, as long as you're not hurting anybody, if that's how you roll, that's how you roll. For real. So when you have like the different aspects of life that you have to go through to accomplish certain things, you're gonna have different ways to approach those things, right? And then everybody's not gonna agree with the way that you approach those things, i.e., the opinions that you might have and the actions, like the specific actions that you make, meaning like doing a podcast to express your thoughts. Not everybody's going to be like, "Oh, Bryce, you should have made a podcast." I've been recommended to make a podcast specifically, like by my parents, and like they're like, "Oh, you should make a podcast," just like through conversation. Specifically, my dad. Hey, dad, and that's okay. So yeah, hi, dad. Anywho, yeah, you can't control that, man. You definitely cannot control what other people are gonna think about, like how you handle life, right? So you're gonna get hate no matter what throughout this life. You're definitely gonna get hate. You're gonna get hated on. You're gonna have you're gonna get hate, man. It's a way of life. It's the way that life goes. So it's how you respond to the hate that kind of matters. It's the type of principle where it's like the rain's gonna come. But are you gonna wear a jacket? How are you gonna complain that you got rained on and you don't have a hood on? Just wear the jacket, put the hood on. Walk through it because you're gonna have to walk through it either way. So, and it's okay to have to walk through it. That's just hey man, it makes you stronger, I guess. And I there was this Kyrie Irving, the NBA basketball player. It's on the what team is he on now? Dallas. Speaking of Dallas, they're playing right now. Game 2. We'll talk about game 1 later. Talk about that later. We have some things to cover on that for sure. But yeah, Kyrie he had a media scrum back in his Brooklyn days, I think it was, and he was just saying like, you can't care about how others are perceiving you, man, because like when you do that, it's just it's not good. It's not good for you because you have such polarizing thoughts around you. People are gonna think about you differently. Two perceptions of you are not going to be the same. So why would you ever try to devote your time to something that's so inconsistent? Like the only thing that's consistent is, or that could be consistent, is your thought of yourself. If you let it, if you let it be inconsistent, it will be inconsistent, and you have full control over that. Don't control what you can control type of thing, where it's like you can't you seriously can't just devote your time and energy to those things. It's never gonna end out. It's never gonna end out well. Trust me, it will never end out well. And the thing about that is that when you have so much time devoted to how other people think of you, you're gonna not do things that you truly want to do because you're gonna be thinking, oh, what if this person thinks this about what I'm going to make? Like, i.e., what if this person thinks that my podcast trailer is gonna be so cheesy or so not original or something like okay, and I made it, I liked it, so that matters for real. As long as I like it, I made it. I mean, I didn't make it by myself, but you know, I had the idea for it. I helped execute it with the help of multiple other people, of course. But the point is that if you continue to put so much thought towards what other people are gonna think about you, then you're gonna end up having a quite a boring lifestyle because you're gonna not make anything. You're not gonna be creative. You're not gonna do anything, man. Because you're gonna get criticism, and usually the critics aren't doing anything. The critics usually can't do what they're trying to criticize you on. you know, like how are you gonna try to say somebody's bad at backflipping and then you're sitting in a chair doing a podcast? Obviously, I mean I haven't said that. I'm just using myself as an example, I guess. I don't know. And when you do the stuff, stand on it, man. Promote it. No, got to. Like when you make a podcast trailer, you tell me you're not gonna post that in your story like 3 times. Come on now, lock in. You have to. Definitely have to. That's a must. That is a must for sure. Cause you put a bunch of time and hours and effort into it. You're telling me you're not gonna tell other people I did this? This is my art that I made. You have to. You definitely have to. That's something where you're asking other people to promote it, like promote it to the people that they know. So, and trying to have a good foundation to build off of. You get a new belt in some type of martial art, right? You're gonna tell somebody like, "Oh, I just got this." You're gonna tell your friends like, "Oh, I just got my black belt," or like, "Oh, I just got my red belt." Like type. You gotta have some excitement towards that. You accomplished something. Be proud of that, and in that pride, make sure that you're still trying to push for for your own success to keep going, right? And be happy in that, because when because happiness can come and go for sure. That's a different that's a tangent right there that I could go on, but we're gonna stay away from that one. We're gonna stay away from that one. That's like an hour just straight yapping of of happiness. But the the way that the happiness can go away from an accomplishment is like, comparison. They say comparison is the thief of joy, right? When they say those things, it definitely makes sense, because when you think of such an intangible thing such as comparison, right? You devote your thoughts to such a you devote your thoughts to other people and how they might be ahead of or behind you, right? In certain things, right? You see somebody making a half court shot and you're like, "Oh, I can barely make a free throw." You see somebody in a relationship and you're like, "Oh, I've been single for my whole life." Like, okay, it's not your time yet. When you constantly think of how others are doing in their lives, and you look at yours and you're like, "Oh, my life isn't supposed to be in this spot." That how is that benefiting you, man? Like, you're literally degrading your own progress in your life, and you're like, "Oh, I'm supposed to be here." No, you're not supposed to be there. If you're not there right now, you're not supposed to be there. Do all you can to get to, to accomplish your goals, but if you can't manufacture a way to accomplish it right then and there, if it's a longer term goal, then it's just going to take longer to get there, for sure. You can't try to look at others and be like, "Oh, they're so far ahead of me," or, "Oh, they're so far behind me." That's straight up ego. If you're trying to put people down that are behind you, like, you'll never see a bodybuilder talking about somebody that just got into the gym, talking about, "Oh, they're so skinny," or, "Oh, they're so not fit," they should be where I'm at. No, they just got there. Let them take their time, and they're gonna build up the same stuff that you might have, as long as, consistency and things of that nature stay in place. And yeah, for sure, because you have to understand that everybody's life is different, and that, your opinion on others, just like their opinion on you, truly does not matter at all. Like, at all. Because, you know, when unless it's constructive criticism and they're trying to bring you up, like they're trying to genuinely help you through your life, like a parent would, then it's not if it's not benefiting you, it's probably bringing you down. That's more of a black and white thing for sure. It's like when you have a person that's constantly giving their opinion on you, very opinionated, and just, you should do this, you should do that. That's never going to end. It's going to be a constant back and forth ping pong game. Never going to end ever. That ball on that table is never falling off if you let that take control of your life. You're gonna lose you're gonna lose control of the wheel. You're gonna lose control of the wheel. You're definitely gonna lose control of the wheel if you let that dictate, how you live your life, for sure. And you you can't let that dictate you, because if you do, then it's just it's gonna be a constant battle, an intrinsic battle, mostly mental thing, where it's like, how am I supposed to keep pushing through if I can never attain what I want to attain? Because it takes a while, man. Because it takes a while. It takes a while to accomplish certain goals, So definitely don't compare. Definitely don't compare. That's a tragic thing to do for sure. It's definitely not helping you in any way, so it's probably hurting you. And why would you? Why would you? Why would you want to compare, man? Like I feel like you should just be locked in on what you feel like you have accomplished. Like look back, see everything that you've done in your life. Because you've done if you're watching this, you've probably done something in your life. I hope you have at least. Uh, I mean, you survived. You woke up. That's an accomplishment right there. Because everybody don't wake up every day. That's definitely an accomplishment. Being able to do that, blessing and accomplishment, a blessing and an accomplishment for sure. So be a fan of yourself. Be your own biggest fan. Because nobody else is going to be a fan of yourself as much as you are. So it's definitely something to take into consideration because you there's no way that you can go through this life without supporting yourself in such a way where you're saying that you're the best to ever do what you want to do. You have to have that mindset, man. And you could call it cocky, I guess. I mean, I feel like it's confident. I feel like there's a fine line between cocky and confident. If you can make sure to not go to that cocky side, just making sure that you do your stuff and that you're trying to be the best at it that you can be. If you can do that, who cares what others are saying? If you're truly trying your best and you know that you're trying your best, who cares? Who cares what somebody might say about something that you make? Like I said, stand on the stuff that you make. Stand on it, please. Yeah, man, that's honestly pretty much all I got on that. Just make sure that you're standing on the stuff that you make because it's very important to me. And not only standing on the stuff that you make, but when other people try to knock down the stuff that you make, don't let them do that because you'll never be able to successfully get through things that you need to get through if you're constantly looking for validation from other people. That's something that's definitely important. I don't know what that was. You can't constantly be looking for validation from other people because they're never gonna truly always validate what you're doing. You're gonna have different views than them. You're gonna have different opinions than them. You're gonna say things a different way that they might. Okay, and who cares? Gotta live carefree. That's very important to live carefree. Again, grain of salt. You gotta take it into consent. I mean, into consideration. Take into consideration how you must still be a good citizen. Don't just not care and then do some crazy stuff. But living carefree to the extent that you are making sure that you're living loosely and freely and doing the things that you want to do when you want to do it. Have control over your life, man. Don't let somebody else get it. Because when you let somebody else have control over your life, that's when things can start going downhill. Like for real, for real. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have on that. On you know others' thoughts on you and living and making sure that you can can still have control over what you can have control over in terms of actions and thoughts and things of that nature, man. Next topic of the day: living carefree. Like I kind of prefaced a little bit a few seconds ago. Living carefree is very important to me. It's living in a stress-free type of environment, being laid back, calm, not too uptight, little anger every now and then that's gonna come and go, right? Mood swings happen as humans. It's gonna happen. It's definitely gonna happen. Like, you're gonna get angry every once in a while. Someone's gonna tick you off. Someone is going to tick you off. Someone's gonna piss you off every once in a while, man. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. But you gotta try to keep on smiling through it for real. Because otherwise, gonna be gonna be going insane. That's what's gonna happen. And that's what's gonna happen. You're gonna go insane. If you think that you're always just gonna be happy and just always up here and never down here, never down here, always up here, man. Never happens. Never happens. It's impossible. Literally impossible. It's the type of thing where you have to navigate through life and try to live with a grain of salt. Don't take everything so harshly. Make sure that you can have serious times, of course, but live life where it's like, hey, I lived another day. This is great, man. Make sure that you know treat others with kindness, things like that. The simple principles, the simple virtues, etc. Right? But more importantly, that you're treating yourself well. That you can be living without constant anxiety of what's going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to take care of itself. It's a thing where it's like, live where your feet are, man. That's a different conversation. That's a different conversation. That's a few episodes away, probably, or something like that. 'Cause that's being present is a whole different thing. Carefree and presence, different in my opinion. But the ability to not be constantly anxious and stressed out, and being able to just have a thing where you can go ahead and radiate positivity. Radiate positivity right there. It makes life a lot easier that way. I feel like, because you know who cares, man? Who cares? Live life to the fullest, as they say. Or what they used to say a few years ago. Oh, YOLO. Yeah, that whole you only live once thing. That's kind of a risky. That's a risky quote. I don't know about that one. That just popped in my head for some reason. But yeah, that's that's a little risky. That's a little risky. That's how you get yourself into trouble, I feel like. But no, yeah, live carefree, man. It's definitely important that you can give yourself the luxury to take a step back, look at life, be happy of it, and just live loosely, man. Just roll your shoulders back and just like, this is nice. It's nice. Appreciate what's around you. Appreciate it. It's important to appreciate it, because you know, especially for like skies and things like that. Like, skies are beautiful. Like, appreciate that. You don't see the same sky twice. You don't. You're never gonna see the same sky twice. That's why I love taking sky pictures. You're never gonna see the same sky twice. Guarantee you. You're never gonna see it twice. Like, literally, like, if you miss it for like a second, the clouds will move. Like, that's just how the clouds work. They'll move around. So I feel like it's a very important thing. Just appreciate it. Like, I feel like I'm gonna end up having to say more stuff about that in some other episode about living carefree. That might be a guest episode. We're definitely having guests on here. We're gonna have a lot of guests on here. We already have some lined up. We probably have 10ish, I think, lined up already. So when people are asking me like, can I get on the pod? I literally have to be like, kind of booked for a little bit. I want to do some solo episodes too. I want to talk to myself still. But it's just definitely no animosity towards them or anything. We're just having fun over here. We're at around the 30-minute mark, so I kind of finished about my life topics, if you will, because even though I'm quite a yapper, I don't. I already covered stuff that I kind of wanted to cover. Like, I covered my Kendrick thing about how you can't please everybody. I covered my Kyrie scrum. I didn't really talk about Tyler as much as I wanted to, Tyler the Creator, but I kind of mentioned his things that were in my mind, like his quotes that were in my mind about the If you want to make something, make it. That thought process came from listening to Tyler. I was already kind of like on the bridge with that, but like Tyler was like, Tyler the creator, make something. If you want to make something, make it. Don't care about how other people perceive how you made it. It doesn't freaking matter. As long as you like it, man. As long as you like it. Wow. As long as you like it. So yeah, we're gonna move on to sports. And the only sport that I care about that's going on right now, or the only sports that I care about that are going on right now, are basketball, baseball. I'm not a hockey guy. Womp womp. Yeah. So, in terms of game one, right? Also with the blowout win. Now, look at past few years. You see the the game one winner is usually, or the game one is usually a blowout win. It hasn't been close for a while. Game ones. And then teams make adjustments in game two, and then if they do win, they win it. If they lose, it's usually not a double blowout. Like they usually lose in blowouts back to back, and it doesn't usually happen. Usually is the key word because I didn't really look that far back into it. So, but what I did look into was some. So I did look into the game. Like I actually watched the game when it was on, and immediately I already knew that Boston was going to win that game. How did I know? Rebounds. Man, tell me why Boston had like five offensive rebounds on one possession. One possession, man, and then they got a shot off of it, of course. You allow that many opportunities for a team, you're cooked. You're cooked. Box out, man. Luca, you're 6'7". Grab a rebound. You got Derek Lively there too. He's like 7'1", 7'2". Grab a rebound, man. Holy cow! Like let's lock in Dallas. Let's lock in. I want to see Kyrie with another win, man. I love Kyrie, but the the way that, speaking of Lively, the way that he was playing defense in the paint was atrocious, to say the least. Atrocious. Dallas had one block as a team. Boston had nine. That I remember. I think it was nine. I think they had nine blocks. I remember seeing that they had the same blocks, same amount of blocks as Dallas had assists. That is not okay. That is not okay. Especially when you have Luca and Kyrie, some of the best playmakers that I've ever seen. And you can only get nine assists. Only nine assists. That's not good. It's not good. Not good at all. When Luca's only getting one assist, you're gonna lose the game. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Dallas. I'm sorry, but you're gonna lose the game when Luca's only getting one assist now. And you know, when speaking of, like, when I was mentioning Lively's interior defense, you got a 7'2" guy. He jumps with his hand straight up. Jaylen Brown comes plowing through. He got strong shoulders, puts his shoulder into your chest, and Lively goes ahead and gets those hands to go forward, and yeah, it was a foul every time. He had five fouls. He had five fouls in game one. Yep. So he dang near fouled out. That doesn't help them. Obviously, he's one of their best interior defenders for sure. Probably their best. Yeah, I would say he's probably their best. Yeah, because I don't know their roster as well as I know some others, but for sure their best. I would say pretty sure that he's their best interior defender. Speaking of defense, why are we letting so many open threes happen, man? So many open threes. We're Dallas is just leaving people open, man. Most of those threes that they took were not contested at all. Not even close. Not even close. I don't know how we're gonna let that happen. And guess who was taking a lot of threes and not making them? Kyrie Irving. I love Kyrie. Struggling, straight up struggling. He might have had 15. I forgot how much he had. I think he probably had 14. Don't remember off the top of my head. If you couldn't tell by now, this thing isn't scripted. Like I have like no notes. Like I just knew I was gonna talk about some life stuff that the game one. So you know, yeah, I might need it. Nah, I don't like scripts. It doesn't make it as raw as I would like it. You know, don't want it well done. So yeah, but when we're allowing so many open shots like that, of course you're gonna lose the game. And then when they give you open shots, you're not making them. You're not making them. You're straight up not making them. Now I don't know what the score is of game two right now because I'm recording this podcast here. But when you when you allow so many open shots, not gonna go well, to say the least. So yeah, it's the type of thing where it's like make some adjustments. Jason Kidd's gonna make some adjustments, and they're probably bouncing back right now. If I guarantee you, it's not gonna be a blowout. Now, if it's a blowout, then that's kind of depressing. If it's a blowout, they might lose the series. My opinion is Mavs in six. I feel like it's gonna be a similar thing to the Warriors series where they struggle in every game pretty much, and then they're down like 2-1, and then Luka goes crazy, and Luka or Kyrie. I feel like Kyrie is gonna. Well, no, they'll be at home, so I mean either one could. And then I feel like Kyrie is gonna have a crazy game five because he's just gonna get tired of the Celtics fans and their tomfoolery. Oh man, but yeah. I think it's gonna be a fun series. I think it's definitely gonna be a fun series. It's the type of thing where it's definitely a series that's gonna go for more than 4 games. I know that for sure. Boston is not gonna have another sweep or another gentleman sweep or any type of near like this series is not gonna be a blowout in any fashion. If they have blowout games, that might happen. Obviously, it already did. They lost by a large margin in game one, right? That's okay, right? The Warriors lost by like 20 in their game one against the Celtics, and they won in six. Last year, when the Nuggets won, they blew out the Heat. I know that the Heat didn't win, but it's just the type of thing where it's like the Heat took them to six too. I think, or if they didn't take them to six, it was like five. Definitely wasn't seven, but I think it was like 5 or 6. You know, type of thing where it's like it's the finals. People have bad games, and you know, Kyrie's the type of person where he can pop off at any time. They still couldn't guard him. He was just missing shots. They still could not. They couldn't really guard him. Drew Holiday was the only one that was clapping him up. Everybody else was having trouble staying in his vicinity, especially with the handles. That corner handle on Horford, oh my gosh, just like the jolt dribble and everything. If you know ball, you know what I'm talking about. Hmm. Most of the people that don't know ball probably clicked off by now. Let's be honest here. So yeah. Speaking of Kyrie, man, how can we get him to get back to his little 20-point game scoring? He needs to he needs to get on the ball more, man. He needs to get on the ball more, because I feel like he wasn't bringing. I could be wrong, but I just feel like he wasn't bringing it up as much. I I like both of them bringing it up, and obviously they can coexist. They've been proving all of the haters wrong with this playoff run here. When I say they, I mean Luka and Kyrie. I feel like if you have Kyrie bring it up more and just have him in a screener role with Lively, or have him in a screen and roll with Kleber, wow, Kleber, or even PJ Washington and do like a pick and pop there, and then have like Luka off to the other. Like if you do it on the right wing, you could have Luka on the left wing, and then if the left wing defender comes in to tag whoever you have as a roll man, you just get past. Or even like a skip to an extra to the corner because they could have Jones Jr. in the corner. Just different scenarios that I feel like Kid is gonna think of. Kid was on the championship team. He won with Dallas. He's gonna figure something out. Speaking of Kid, it was funny how he was instigating, man. He was instigating a few days ago where he he was saying how JB was their best player, which right now is not wrong. Right now he is their best player on the Celtics team. Jalen Brown is better than Jason Tatum right now. Like right, like in that the last game, he was better. Even though JT still got a double double, I still have Jalen Brown above him in terms of actually playing better. Jalen Brown was more efficient, and I feel like he impacted the game just a little more than Tatum, just a little more, just a little more. I just felt like I felt his presence more. Now, X factors, right? Kyrie is not an X factor. However, he needs to turn it up. He's not the X factor, but he definitely needs to turn it up if they want to win more games. Like he can't be scoring under 20. He needs to be scoring at least 20 every game because he's 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 a sidekick right now, and that's okay. But he needs to make sure that he can still produce. Because if he doesn't produce, then we're not we're Dallas is not winning games if he doesn't produce. Just saying. I also heard Luca was questionable, but when I checked in earlier before I started, he was playing. So they still have a chance, is what I'm saying with that one. But yeah, we have the X factor for the Celtics. Undoubtedly, undoubtedly, Kristaps Porzingis. That's Tingus Pingus right there. Oh my gosh, he dropped 20. It felt like he dropped 30. He dropped 20. It felt like he dropped 30. He had multiple blocks. He got multiple rebounds. You know, it felt like he might have had a few assists too. Definitely a block party. You know, when it felt like they had like 15 blocks at the Celtics in general. Like it was almost every time that somebody would try to go in for a big like interior shot, like a big like layup or like a power slam or like just something, man. It was like they were on that, man. They were really on that. Drew Holiday didn't get any blocks, but it felt like he was getting some. He might have gotten like two steals, one steal, two steals. I'm not one to check the stat sheet too much because the stat sheet does not tell the whole story, but it definitely tells some stories. It's funny because Boston lost the turnover game and they still won the game. I think they had like one more turnover than Dallas. And usually when you lose a turnover game, obviously it wasn't by a large margin, but statistically when you lose a turnover game, you usually lose the game. Obviously that didn't happen for them. But yeah, in terms of Dallas X factors. I feel like if PJ Washington consistently hits corner shots, the Dallas Mavericks will be fine. Kyrie's gonna back on track. Luka is gonna start being more efficient from three as the series goes on. This happened last series too, or not last series, 2 series ago, where Luka was like crazy inefficient. I'm trying to remember. I just saw he was inefficient last series too. He hasn't really been efficient in this whole playoff run. I feel like he's been taking a lot of shots, and I feel like I saw him go 9 for 26 once. Like, dude, dude, where's my 73 point Luka Doncic at? Like, come on, lock in. But yeah, so it was a cool game to watch. It was definitely a cool game to watch. I enjoyed that one. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. When you have Kristaps playing well for the Celtics, if he keeps playing well, he might be playing well. I don't know. I should probably have the game up. It's whatever. When you have Kristaps playing well, and then you have what's his name, Derek White hitting consistently for three. Like this happened with the Warriors too. Like it was like one game where it was like Derek White, Al Horford, and who's the other player? Some third player. Some third player. They combined for like 26 threes or something like that. That's not going to happen every game. They're not going to get 9 blocks every game. That's just not going to happen. They're going to get blocks every game, but they're not getting 9. You might get 9 assists once, but you're not only going to get. That's just not how basketball works. Basketball is going to be very, very back and forth, like a ping pong game, like I was saying with life earlier. To build basketball, life is basketball, and basketball is life. You know, it definitely has some correlation to each other. There's some relativity there for sure. It's a different episode. When you have such a changing game where you can have such a good game one time and such a bad game next game, it's gonna go up and down. So, the outcome might be a Mavs blowout, like where the Mavs win by 20 or something. I don't know. That's the beauty of basketball, man. It's gonna keep on changing. So if um if Dallas can up the efficiency and they can down with the fouls and take wiser interior shots, they should be okay in terms of keeping this series tight. Going down 2-0 is not something that you want to do for sure. It's definitely not something that you want to do because, especially against the Celtics. I think Dallas won every game too. The series though, or I mean this playoff run. So they if they win tonight, I won't be surprised at all. By the time this is uploaded, the game's going to be over. I'll do some game two analysis next podcast. But last thing I want to talk about baseball. Cubs. What are we doing? We're third. We're fourth in the NL. What are we doing, Cubs? What are we doing? We have lost so many games in a row. We were down by a large margin to the Sox in the crosstown series both times. Luckily, we came back because the Sox suck. But you know, I don't know how we're losing. Dang, they're losing to a team that's so bad. Then we move on to the Red Series. The Reds aren't elite either. Ellie's elite. Ellie De La Cruz is elite. Other than that, eh. I think we won today. We lost every other game. We lost the series. We lost the series. Yep. By a large margin. Not even close. Not even close. And the worst part is that we were third behind the Reds. So if we win those games against the Reds, we might have a chance. Then we go under the Pirates by losing so many games against the Reds. Like, can we lock in? I'm talking way too fast. I'm sorry, y'all, but Cubs piss me off sometimes. Basically, I'm just saying if we had won the games against our division, win against the Reds, at least win the series. I'm not saying win every game. That's probably not going to happen against the Reds, but at least win the series, have a much better chance of playoff success, or I mean, getting into the playoffs. There's a reason why they call us completely useless by September. It's a constant thing. It's not pleasant. It's not pleasant. It's hard being a Cubs fan. Yeah. So, little life update, I guess, before I head out. We got summer school coming up. They're making us use no phones in summer school as an experiment for the actual school year. That's not going to go well. People are still going to do bad if they lock up the phones or not. My thing is like the people who are actually going to care are going to find a way to, or I mean, the people that don't care are going to find a way to still not care about school. If they've got D's before, they're going to still have D's throughout summer school. So, yeah. Or if they're in summer school because they had F's, their worth ethic is not going to change, yo. It's not going to change. They're going to keep on getting those F's. Or they might get a D this time and actually pass, and then they can actually move on to the next course. But, other than that, it's not going to change. Sorry to break it to you, high school. Yeah. Other than that, we got summer ball coming up. In terms of when I say ball, I mean basketball. Summer basketball coming up, and we got this podcast. Pretty much it, man. We keep on living life one day at a time and trying to enjoy it as much as we can. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I appreciate y'all for watching. Um, little quick one last round of applause for the first episode of the podcast and for Mari and Diaco and Bryce and Anthony for helping me out with the podcast totally formally acknowledge them on the actual podcast and not just in the credits. So yeah, we're gonna let that end. It's gonna die off, and yeah, there we go. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you watched this far, it's been 50 minutes. So if you watched all 50 minutes, I really appreciate you. You definitely have my love. If you even followed or subscribed or watched 1 minute or 10 minutes, or 50 minutes. Love you either way. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. It's been the first episode. And oh, one last thing. Posted on Instagram. If you're on Instagram, you already know. If you're on my Instagram, you already know. There's also a YouTube. There's a YouTube. Bryce with two E's. Babbles. Yep. There's also a Spotify. There's a Spotify. Yep. There's a Spotify. Spotify. Uh, Moreover, there is an Apple Podcast. I'm on Instagram where I'm going to post some clips. Oh, I'm also on TikTok. That's 5 on TikTok. So we got 5 platforms. Instagram is strictly clips. TikTok strictly clips. YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts are all the whole episode. All right. And it's in my link tree. The link tree is on every platform besides TikTok because I can't figure out how to get it in there. I have to look into that. But it's right. It's in my bio for for Instagram. It's in the Spotify bio if you're listening and watching on Spotify, because you can watch the video on Spotify. If you're on Apple Podcasts, for the people that don't have Spotify or YouTube, it's linked on Apple Podcasts too, and everything is linked on YouTube. It's very easy to link on there. So yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed my Babel session, my first one. First public one, at least. Been doing Babel sessions for 16 years. So, this is not new to me. I just have a handheld mic now. I've had this, but I'm using one, and we're doing it and posting it this time. So, yeah. So it was a great little first episode. A thing that I learned is that the first time that you do something, it's never going to be great. So this is probably very terrible looking back at it from, like, if I'm looking when I'm like 100 episodes in or whatever, if I look back at it, I'm gonna be like, this is the worst episode ever. Of course it was. Okay. I had fun. This is good talking to myself. I love it. Episode 2 coming soon. And I wasn't joking when I said episode 1 was coming soon. So yeah. I'm gonna edit this up real quick, post it out. We're gonna so yeah. We had fun, and that's all that matters. I liked what I did, so that's all that matters. Don't care what y'all, how y'all think about the podcast. I don't. I don't. As long as I like it, So yeah. Thanks for watching if you're still here, and yeah, tune in for episode 2 coming very soon. When I say very soon, I'm not joking. It's probably gonna come out like the next week. Not joking around. Don't play. I don't play. Yeah. Tune in on the other links. Subscribe, follow, the whole shebang. Yeah, thanks for watching.